Hello, once again, welcome back to Snowbound Blood. This is an hour or two after I recorded the last stream, so I just took a break because I was getting tired. Things are starting to get a bit tedious for me, but that's basically because I'm just looking forward to Mashiri's route so much. Anyway, Volume 4, Part 2, Orica. Apparently, Orica's really, important. Orica Rust is in danger. That's the conclusion you came to, standing in a cornfield and staring her photograph at the blurry face. You didn't even think about it. The next moment you were on your bike and gunning it out of there. The fact of her peril was so obvious that it would be insulting if anyone paused long enough to explain it. Sometimes narrative introspection is just too big a strain on your schedule. You threw all caution to the wind, racing at top speed to get here, but now making your way down to the shoreline, you'd have to ask the wind for your caution back. You'll need it this close to the depths. Nobody lives on the coast without good reason. Repeton's hostile terrain is still nothing compared to the Icarus, obsidian-tinted, eldritch-infested nightmare fuel that is its seascape. The notion of a holiday doesn't really exist in your culture, and the notion of a beach holiday exists even less. The idea that anyone would ever come to such a place for relaxation is unfathomable. Equally unfathomable are the depths themselves, since nobody knows how deep they go. They might as well be bottomless. The powerful smell, which got steadily stronger as you drove toward the coast, is now threatening to overwhelm you. Your acid tubes aren't so much heaving as they are writhing in agony. It's basically the most disgusting thing you've ever smelled in your life. Think rotting flesh, and then dial that up to rotting everything. That's what your honk sniffer is dealing with right now. It's like if someone directed an open sewer into a landfill site, which happened to be built next to a world-encompassing mass extinction zone. It's like that because that's literally what this place is. You hate coming here, but you have no choice. As you make your way through the trash dunes, piled high with junk and worthless garbage, you can't help but be reminded of something, or rather someone. Maybe it's the way your insides are currently suing for emotional damages, but something about wading through a literal shit show of cultural detritus and filth brings her to mind. What would she say if she could see you now? The very thought of her gloating over you for this malodorous misadventure makes you grind your crunch stumps in irritation. It's not like she's above any of this, though. Hell, she probably delivered some of this stuff personally. It's a pity she didn't throw herself on the pile for good measure. You leave this train of thought hastily on top of the trash heap that inspired it. You've got to stop getting distracted. Didn't you mention? You're in kind of a hurry at the moment. You're heading for a system of caves carved out of the promontory in the distance. That's where Orica lives. When she was first relocated here, she said that the bluff reminded her a lot of her deadly departed Lucis. You never understood what the hell she was talking about. It's just a funny looking rock to you. Getting there is proving to be a bit of an ordeal. You're having to weave to and fro through mounds of electrical junk, pre-Renaissance rubbish and prematurely obsolescent modern gadgetry mixing together in one big incestuous techno-slurry. As you trek through it all, I'm just rubbing my eyes. I can't see without my glasses. Your ears aren't having as hard a time as your nose. Nothing much to hear except the lapping of the waves on the shore. It's oddly soothing, if a little sinister. But you're triumphantly cresting a mountain of turning Kaikai-branded interactive sing-along DVDs, far too big to walk around, when your sensitive ears perk up a little. Somewhere in the distance, and only for a brief moment, you could have sworn you heard something else moving out there. Whatever, it's nothing important. A squeak beast nest buried underneath a mound of rubbish is the least of your concerns right now, and going by the noise, it's definitely not big enough to be a person. Nevertheless, you move a bit more quietly as you finally approach the cape. The rock here has been eroded away over millions of sweeps by hundreds of thousands of Repetonian sea storms. The icky black sand wends its way inside the cave system, passing under rows of jagged stalactites. If it did look like any kind of animal, which to be clear it absolutely does not, then you'd be making your way into its mouth. The mouth of the cave, you mean. You know what, forget it. You hurry inside. The interior of the cave is damp, dark and unwelcoming. It's actually quite hard to see anything much in here, even so close to the exit. The jet black depths water doesn't reflect much light inside. At least the smell is a bit more tolerable though. We've walked our way back to dead aquatic fauna on your personal scale of olfactory displeasure. Hopefully that means you can breathe a little easier for a while in here, but only literally, mind you. You've still got a former client to save. You begin to move deeper into the caverns towards where Orica's hive should be. It really is very dark in here though. You go to turn on your visor's torch setting and... Okay, no torch then. Darn, this thing was working fine earlier too. Wait, no, that's not quite right. There was that weird glitch that happened in Husk's barn, wasn't there? At least you think it was a glitch. You take the visor off so you can give it a shake or something. Do these things still have data cartridges you can blow into? Oh, it's impossible to see anything here. Oh well, at least... Lots of things start happening all at once. The lights in the caverns come on out of nowhere, nearly blinding you. A low rumble starts up and the floor of the cave begins vibrating. Over the top of that low bass hum, a klaxon shrieks and wails so loud that your auricular sponge clots sear in pain, and behind that, you hear the telltale sound of weaponry being engaged. Oh, motherfucker. You dive wildly for cover, heading for a large boulder you can barely see at the edge of your peripheral vision. You manage to duck just in time as a searing bolt of energy streaks through the air above you. You knew it, you knew it, you knew it. They've come for her just like you suspected, and you still walk straight into the trap they left for you like an idiot. You dodge 2 more laser beams in quick succession as you silently curse yourself over and over, running to the cave wall as fast as your legs will carry you. The sudden movement throws you off balance though, and you desperately fumble for a few moments with the visor in your hands before losing your grip on it altogether. Shit! Your head whips around as you hurry on, and you barely manage to spot it as it tumbles through the air. Oh no. Then bounces down the cavern a short distance. Oh no, no, no. Before settling in a suspicious looking divot in the floor. Boom! A small fireball engulfs the middle of the cavern, narrowly missing you. The noise is deafening. The heat from the explosion flares angrily against your skin. It's been many sweeps since you got rid of your sideburns. If you still had them then, they certainly wouldn't be here anymore. As the landmine went off, the explosion slammed you full force into the boulder you'd been aiming for. Overcome with the noise and light and heat, your vision begins to swim a little. Then everything is dark again. Great work, Yapira, you've blacked out. It occurs to you that, surely nothing should be occurring to you if you've been knocked out, right? Oh well, whatever. Your mind, deep in the throes of whatever dubious state of consciousness this is, can't help but think of someone important, someone you were trying to help. Who was it again? On any other day this would be your go-to choice, but honestly after what happened in the cornfields, you're kind of hesitant to try recalling anything for the time being. That doesn't stop you from straight up lowercase remembering stuff though, so you give that a try instead. Something was messing with your recall liberation earlier. Nice wordplay. Remembering is likely the safest option. It's possible this distinction makes absolutely no sense, but you don't give a shit about that. Now, who was it that you came to see? Oh, Omicron? That can't be it. Orisa? No, that's not right. Come on, this is important. Your memory's supposed to be perfect, damn it. Or Orifice? Definitely not. This is a nightmare. You have to remember, you have to. You can't forget anything, not now. You can feel it right on the tip of your gustation frond. Auric. All at once, the memory of Orica leaps out of the blackness and smacks you around the face, hard. Ouch! You suppose that's what you get for letting slip your mind, though. Orica Rust was one of the strangest assignments you ever had, before the one occupying you presently. Honestly, it's a bit much to get into right now. To cut a long story short, sweeps ago she ended up in big trouble, and you're asked to bail her out of it. But not the money kind of bail, more the chucking pails of water out of a sinking ship kind. You know what, since neither legal systems nor boats are really things your culture does, it's really weird that bailing someone out is an expression in your language at all. Really makes you think. Oh right, you were supposed to be thinking about Orica. Oh, your head. She's always been somewhat of a mechanical genius, but the problem with genius is that every so often it can make you do something very, very stupid. Anyway, she was a high blood in peril, and the mob wasn't interested in arguing with both you and your sword, so you got her off the hook eventually, but not without some complications, medical ones. Once she'd recovered from the ordeal, Orica built you an electronic visor as a thank you for your assistance. The one that, no, you can't deal with that thought right now. It's too much. She was rehoused to this cave in secret, far away from anyone that might try and hurt her again. That was the plan, anyway. The anonymous tip had you doubting everything. You understood the danger the moment you saw the photo, because if she's been found, then who knows what could happen? Who knows what is happening to her? Right now! You've got to help her now! The memory of Orica leans in and smacks you around the face again? Fucking ow! Then you realise that this isn't a memory of Orica you're seeing at all. It hits a little too hard for that. You float back up into awareness slowly. Your vision returns first, and the pain starts to blossom from your think pan, and then you begin to hear again. Cecily? Cecily? Flushed. Fucking Discord things. You're spread out on the floor of the cave where you got knocked out. Orica is standing over you and looking, well, you can't tell. You can't see her face through the screen in her helmet. Instead, what you see is some peculiar looking pictogram. It means nothing to you. You blink up at Orica in a daze. Orica, what are you doing here? At the moment, I wish I had a fucking screen that could do that on my face. I'm puzzling out what you're doing, spread eagle behind a boulder. I love it. OMG. Could it be that you came to visit me? I suppose you could say that. Of course you were here to see her. You can't think of any other conceivable reason why anyone would be seen dead in this place. Hell, you very nearly were seen dead in this place. Orica doesn't seem to pick up on this point because it was made silently and in your head, which incidentally hurts like a bitch. Instead, she claps her hands together in apparent glee. Ah, I knew it! It's so good to see you, Cecily. Or should I say, Cecily LMAO? You just said my name the same way twice. What were you thinking walking in here without letting me know beforehand? It's lucky I was already on my way here to disarm my defense systems in the first place. Otherwise they would have made a sizzling hot Cecily steak out of you, if you know what I mean. But for real, Cess, why didn't you tell me you were coming? It's been so long since you last came to see me. Oh, pensive. I love pensive. Orica, what is going on here? I thought you were in danger. I was tipped off that someone had managed to find out where you lived and feared the worst. I didn't really have time to bother with a courtesy call. Not that I could have called you in the first place. You don't have a voice connection here, and I don't know how to work that ridiculous website you insist on using for communication. You're having a hard time keeping Orica in focus. Seems like your pan took one hell of a knock back there. It doesn't help that she's got that bright screen in her helmet pointed right at you, flashing those weird esoteric symbols constantly as she talks. Okay, well, first of all, Discorps isn't a website, says stupid, it's a chat client. The two are completely different things. And it's not just any old chat client, but the original, non-corporatized, independent, real-time communication engine. One that was cruelly deposed by big business interests in favour of that shitty branded thing they just rolled out. I mean, come on, Scorp doesn't offer anything approaching the emote functionality Discorps has, so you know it's basically worthless. Not to mention the security has loopholes out the ass, which is a whole other kettle of Orica. Okay, yeah, maybe I'm getting a little off track here. So, to what do I owe the pleasure of finding you all akimbo on my cave floor? Like I said before, I was... Oh right, no, I remember you got some shady tip that I was in danger or something and raced all the way here to see if I was okay. And honestly, that's really touching and I appreciate you coming, Cecily, no matter what the reason. Aww. But Well, not to burst your bubble or anything, you poppet, but does it really look like I'm in much danger of getting snuck up on? Oh, that's adorable. You poppet like your para, but poppet. Poppet's that's a really cute nickname. Like a term of endearment. She waves her hand vaguely about, gesturing to the scorch marks on the floor, the banks of laser cannons embedded in the walls. You have to admit that it's a pretty impressive defence system she's got going on here. Certainly a hell of a lot more comprehensive than Husk and their friends had in the cornfields. I have to admit that it's a pretty impressive defence system you've got going on here. Did you install this yourself? Oh, well, lots of time on my lonesome equals lots of time for these little passion projects. Especially if it's a passion fueled by my desire to not get mauled by people with an axe to grind. Trumps just do not know how to behave themselves. But if they want to take it with me and my laser turrets, then that's a them problem, LMAO. You guess she has a point, maybe. You've always found it a little hard to follow along with what Orica says on account of all the occult slang and acronyms she throws around. Or I suppose I should say it was a them problem. Like I said, I was actually on my way here to turn the system off. She offers precious little explanation, but you're not really bothered about that. The fact that this system existed in the first place is a bigger concern of yours right now. If you've been having a lot of difficulty with unwanted attention, then this is the kind of thing you should bring up with the corporation. I know you don't like to talk about it, but you are a member of an officially endangered hemotype, and that entitles you to certain protections. If you took the time to install a voice connection here, then, well, the air has a line specifically for you to make him aware of problems like these. It would surely be a less taxing use of your skills than building a makeshift fortress out of domestic waste. So what you're saying is, I should just dial up the corporate cops? Well, sorry, but I'm just not that kind of person. Why would I let some goons from the corporation have all the fun wailing on those nook suckers? I mean, come on. That's such a blatant expropriation of my suffering. Well, okay, nobody would be wailing on anyone else, and I have no idea what a cop is supposed to be, but whatever. And why would I want to talk to stupid little Sestro anyway? I mean, let's be real, the guy's a total weenie. You'd think I'd ask that dimpled weed for a favour just to make him look good. He'd spend the whole time prattling on about social responsibility and how he's going to fix everything by recycling gaper paper or whatever. Droning on and on while looking mournfully out of his window all forlorn and shit like it's Singles Day at the aquarium. Pensive shrimp. Pensive what? I just couldn't talk to someone knowing that amount of self-pitying was going on down the other end, seriously. Ouch. Although having said that, it'd be another thing entirely if I could get a few choice words in with that nasty side piece he's got going on there. You're not talking about Hamifi, are you? Yes, that's the one. Nobody in my service know who or what she even does, but the running theory is pretty much everything, lol. And besides the shady business she always seems to be involved with, anyone whose scowl is unanimously voted most blood-curdling in the Auxilia Chicks webzine 3 sweeps running has got to be one mean piece of work. Not to mention there's this rumour going around that starting up that shitty new chat client was all her idea. The girl's diabolical, but also diabolically easy on the glance nuggets, if you know what I mean. Oh, damn. Oh, God, this is genuinely kind of awful. Not only is Hamifi a bit young for Orica, but you basically raised her and her betrothed yourself. Listening to this is making you feel a bit weird. And besides, isn't Orica seeing someone already? You remember hearing something about that a long time ago. Then again, you might be getting your quadrants mixed up. At this point, you're having a hard time remembering what all of them were even called. Oh, no, you're right, I'm still going steadily with Ron, don't worry about that. But we've been pretty firmly in the red for a good while, and sometimes a girl's just gotta loathe, you know? You suppose you can understand that, at least. Boy, do you love a good loathing. The topic of romance isn't one you like getting into, though, and especially not with something quite so, well, so Orica. Your gaze wanders a bit, trying to avoid looking at her helmet screen for too long. You settle on a smouldering crater a short distance away where your electronic visor met its untimely end. All at once, the reality of the situation like this hits you. That visor was your trusty partner for sweeps, the only piece of tech you actually knew how to use. You haven't simply lost a handy tool. That headscreen was more to you than just an accessory. It was... no, you can't say it. And now it's gone forever, tragically exploded. You're having a hard time even understanding its absence. You're definitely in the denial stage right now. The pain is too much to bear. Speaking of pain, your think pan still hurts like crazy from when you slammed into that rock a while back. You put a hand to your temple and wince. Seeing this, Orica looks a bit concerned. Everything alright there, Cess? Something happened to you? Oh right, yeah, I guess I just did unleash a barrage of laser artillery at you, LMAO. Well, that's all Ica under the bridge, I suppose, and absolutely not worth dwelling on for any length of time. And speaking of not dwelling, we should head back to my hive. It's not really safe all the way out here. The splitting pain makes it kind of hard to talk, so you're absolutely nodding along with a lot of what Orica says. Only figuratively, mind you. Actually nodding would likely be just as painful. Orica begins to head deeper into the cave, indicating that you should come along with her. The two of you begin to trudge your way through the cavern in the direction of Orica's hive. The cave system inside this cliff essentially consists of one long winding tunnel with several smaller tributaries branching off either side. It's pretty easy to navigate even without Orica's help. You try to keep chatter to a minimum on account of your injuries, but something catches your eye after a few moments of walking that you can't help but remark on. Orica? What is that thing over there? You point towards a little alcove tucked into one of the walls of the cave. It's not the alcove inside itself you're interested in, but rather what's inside it. It looks vaguely mechanical. Orica looks to where you're pointing, looking a bit startled. You think she does at any rate. It's hard to tell what she's thinking with this screen in the way of her face. Oh, that little thing? It's nothing important. That little thing is, for convenient reference, about 8 feet tall. Whatever it is, it's constructed out of a whole lot of scrap, assorted bits of junk, and who knows what else. It's a little bit freakish to look at, and yet somehow it seems familiar. Oh no. Oh hell no. Wait a moment, Orica. You don't seriously mean to tell me you've been building more of your little machines again, do you? You can't see Orica's face, but you get the sneaking suspicion she's avoiding your gaze behind that screen. Can we, not talk about this, maybe? I signed an NDA, remember, and besides, the topic is kinda, Oh my god, Orica, what in the All-Mother's name does the non-destruction agreement have to do with it? Other than the fact that it's the reason why you absolutely positively cannot be building another one of these contraptions. Why do you think they made you sign that document in the first place? Because it'd look nice mounted in a gilt frame on your wall? I mean, that was a very nice frame it got put in. Thanks for that, by the way. You're so very welcome. Anyway, that agreement was drafted because it was the only way to get everyone to keep quiet about the catastrophe that happened the last time you built one of these mechs? Mechanized body augmentation suits is what I meant to say. Your pithy high-blood slang is ridiculous and feels awful coming out of my shout cave. Okay, whatever, the name's not important. Cecily. My darling. My angel. My favourite criminal damages lawyer. Aww. Everyone else says catastrophe. I say spontaneous infrastructural rearrangement. So really, who even knows what happened at the end of the night? You're impossible. Orica doesn't respond to that other than to flash you another strange symbol through her helmet screen. She skips on ahead of you a little ways as the two of you round another bend in a long passageway. You're a decent way inside this cliff by now. Suddenly, the cave opens up into a wide, high-walled cavern, so large that it's hard to make out in the ceiling in the dim light. By far the most notable thing about this cave, though, is the 3-story all-motherfucking mansion that's sitting right in the middle of it. Members of the endangered caste have more ready access to corporate welfare than most. Whereas, say, a Burgundy would expect it to take care of themselves past the age of 6 sweeps or so, Orica and trolls of her hemotype usually get looked after well into adulthood. Ostensibly, it's all about preserving the rarer troll subspecies, but most people see it as a sycophantic handout to a historically powerful group who have since fallen from grace. You don't suppose you can really blame them either. Orica may talk about not really being all that different from anyone else, but there's only so many small palaces you can be built in secret caves before that starts to ring a little hollow. You follow Orica up the front steps through the main entrance and into her primary living quarters. The hive has changed a lot since the last time you were here, back when it had just been built. Well, that's not quite true. The hive itself isn't all that different. The mess is, though. Oh, is that like a... just looking at all this stuff. Is that a guitar or a game controller back there? That looks like an axe. It's nothing compared to the landfill outside the cave, but you can hardly step anywhere in here for fear of treading on something, or worse, in something. That's an important, if yucky, distinction. Orica, I apologise if this comes across as somewhat as a criticism, but... what is this plethora of putrid-smelling garbage doing in your leisure cube? I knew you used this stuff for your various engineering projects, but this is beyond absurd. I have exceptionally good vision, and even I'm having trouble seeing the floor. That's an exaggeration, which is unlike you. Her room isn't that bad. Maybe it's the blood in your eyes that's talking. Seeing at all is pretty hard right now. Orica doesn't seem fazed by your fussing, though. LMAO, Ceci, sweetheart, if you think this is bad, then you should see some of the other blocks in this place. You get the feeling that you most certainly should not see any of the other blocks in this hive. If nothing else, you'd be committing some poor background artist to days of extra work. As for how it got like this, well, honestly, I have no idea. I mean, one day you start doing a bit of tinkering with the available resources from a nearby waste disposal zone, and before you know it, you're having to quarantine whole wings of your hive because of the smell. You know how it is. You so utterly don't know how it is. Orica, look, I'll be honest. My think pan is killing me, your hive is a total disaster, and I'm rapidly losing my grip on the very reason why I even came to see you in the first place. I thought you were in danger. I'm not especially sure what I was thinking, actually. I just knew that something was up. A whole lot is happening at the corporation right now, and none of it is good. You explained to Orica about the whole Vivify blood merglery situation in lots of detail, so much so that it would be very boring if we all had to sit through it. Orica also seems pretty uninterested in the whole story, actually, a bit distracted. Maybe living in a cave for so long has made her pretty detached from the world outside. You wrap up your explanation, feeling a bit irritated. Wig? Okay, Cecily, I know this is all very important to you, but I think that maybe there's something else you should be worried about right now. She gestures to your pan, which you're massaging furiously with both hands. You look really hurt. The visor I gave you is missing. You didn't get rid of it, did you? No, Orica, I didn't get rid of it. It was exploded in a fireball. Would you like to know why it was exploded in a fireball, Orica? I'm sure you would. It was because of one of your crazy mechanical devices. The same things which you were supposed to never build again for the good of everyone's safety, including yours. Okay, you're shouting now. You hate how it feels, but love it at the same time. Your blood is boiling, and suddenly you're the most alive you've been all day. All Weiss. All sweep. I just don't understand any of it, Orica. I don't understand how you're just okay with this. Okay with the situation? Okay with what happened to you? Okay with what you did? Okay with anything? I could very well have died, Orica, or what's worse, been injured past the point of medical aid. I was beside myself with worry about you. I thought you might have been killed, and then it all turned out to be a complete waste of my time. Oh, we're being mean to her. In fact, it turned out to be even worse than that. My time has not so much been wasted as it has been fucked over completely. Because how am I supposed to even complete my objective now that my visor is... The visor is... The next word sticks in your chute. An old wound flares in pain. Gone. Oh, all mother of fuck. You topple haphazardly down into a chair, dizzy, deflated and nauseous. Your think pan feels like it's going to split in two. Orica is looking at you in shock, her helmet screen blank and featureless. Neither of you move for a while. Cecily. Then, very slowly, she brings her arms up and takes the helmet off. Oh, she's cute! I'm not okay with it. Not with what I did, not with what happened to me, not with what happened to you. Like, obviously I'm not okay with any of those things. And on some level I know that no matter how hard I try, I'm never going to be okay with it. But at the same time, I just kind of have to be okay with it. If that makes sense. Like, on some level I just need to be okay with it, no matter what I actually think. Just so I can be okay with myself. And keep on living. She sighs, long and deep. Some things can't be forgiven no matter how much you apologise. Or no matter how much you want to forgive someone else, or even though you know it's the right thing to do. Maybe it's stupid to keep on hoping that I can build something that will make up for what happened. And even more dangerous than stupid, I guess. But Ron and me, that's the kind of people we are, I think. We can't stop trying because otherwise we'd be being okay with it. But the wrong kind of okay. I'm sorry, Cecily. I'm sorry that you got tied up in it. All those sweeps ago, and right now. Pensive. She lowers her eye to the floor, not meeting your gaze. You feel terrible, and not just because you're very severely battered and bruised. For one thing, losing your temper like that was simply unacceptable. You're supposed to do better. But worst of all is how Orica is apologising for something which in the end you're just as guilty of. Putting herself in harm's way in some desperate attempt at atonement. Ugh, it's so familiar. There's a point where what you've done to others and what they've done to you seems to congeal into one big meaty lump of anger and sadness. One that, try as you might, you'll never know what to do with. So it just stays. For a long time I just let this sort of fester. Literally, I mean. A lot of what you're looking at right now happened because I got hurt and just didn't care enough to tend to things until it was too late. But part of being okay with things is learning how to be okay, I think. So, that's what I've decided to do. She nods to herself, perking up a little. Oh, she's got a cute smile. I've been teaching myself first aid. It's not much at the moment, but hopefully one day I'll be able to do something useful with it. Bodies aren't really all that much different from machines, so I'm basically halfway there already, lol. So here's an idea. How about I go get my things and we can patch you up, and I'll see about replacing your visor while I'm at it. That sound good, Cess? She doesn't say anything about trying to make it up to you, but you both know that's what she's doing. And similarly, when you incline your head in approval, it's a way of saying sorry for the outburst. You make this strange little agreement of apology, a bargain of atonement struck between two unlikely friends. You think that's what you are. You're never really sure about these things. Orica flashes you a wink and hurries off to get her things. Once she's gone, you take a moment to try and collect your thoughts. You've got plenty of them, that's for sure. You just sit and stew for a while, mulling everything over, but eventually, by force of habit, your investigative instincts start to get the better of you. Something is up and you don't know what it is, so you do what you always do when something is up, root around in a pile of trash until something presents itself. You get up slowly and carefully begin poking around the room. There's a lot of stuff in here, so much that it all starts to blend together into one big mass of visual noise, but there are some things that stand out amongst it all. Over on her desk you can see the remains of some old electronic devices that she probably gutted for parts in order to build one of her contraptions. Next to that is Orica's computer, which is still turned on. There's something about it which seems off, but you can't quite tell why. It's not that there's anything wrong with the device itself, you don't think. It's more like the simple act of looking at it makes you feel a bit strange. If you had to describe it, then you'd say that it reminds you of what it's like when you're about to gather an insight increment. Like you're looking at something investigatively important. That's a pretty weird thought, you think to yourself. You mean, sure, it can come in handy, but it's not like the investigation progress meter ever really meant anything, right? Even so, there's something about not being able to rely on it that makes you feel a bit sad. You might even say, depressed? And that's one of the stages Mashiri told you about once, sweeps ago. In any case, since you don't have your visor, you'll just have to make do without the meter from now on. No point in dwelling on it. You probably feel weird and sad because you're concussed or something. Ditto for this feeling about the computer, probably all in your head, and yet the longer you're in the room with it, the more certain you are you have to look at it. The screen is calling to you. Well, there is an investigation going on, and you're the chief regulator. You're quite sure there's no significant ethical boundary being crossed here. The idea that something could be impairing your judgment in this matter is absurd. Oh, well, maybe it's not absurd, but what the hell? You're going with the feeling. On the screen is a chat log of some kind. Looks like Orica was talking to someone recently. You wonder who? The log begins about half a sweep ago, so you start reading from there. Obnoxious Antidote began discoursing with Aeneas Alloyd. Hello there. Oh, hi. How are you? I'm okay, I guess. Just working on a personal project at the moment. I'm glad to hear it. Personal projects are wonderful, aren't they? There's nothing like dedicating your time to something you really believe in and then seeing the effects of your handiwork. Haha, yeah, I suppose that's true. Not to be rude, OA, but do I know you from anywhere? Ah, of course, you're right to be suspicious. I could just be about anyone sliding into your DMs, couldn't I? Let's just say I'm an admirer of yours. I recognise you in the Anti-Corporate Antiquarian bloggers server. Oh, I love meeting new people from ECAB, hi there. But an admirer? I don't know what I could have done to deserve one of those. Oh, come now, that's putting yourself down terribly. You seem to be rather well known in certain circles, AA. In fact, I'd go so far as to say, you should be famous. Nothing much out of the ordinary here, you don't think? Although, no, it's probably nothing. You skip ahead a few Weisses, keeping an eye out for anything suspicious. So, what were you talking about in the server earlier? That was pretty nuts, LMAO. Do you really think so? I thought it was perfectly reasonable. I mean, sure, we all agree that corporate is pretty bad news, OA, but that's some really serious stuff to just come out and say. If anyone did that, then lots of innocent people would get hurt. And your point is? I would have thought that you of all people would understand where I'm coming from, AA. And besides, you agree with me, right? That there's something wrong with our world? Something festering underneath its surface? There's nothing wrong with wanting to cleanse what's been infected. Maybe you should try it sometime. Wait, what? This doesn't look harmless at all. You skip ahead some more, a horrible feeling settling into your acid tubes. You reach a point where Orica drops her quirk entirely. That definitely can't be good. We need to talk. To what do I owe the pleasure? Oh, quit it with the fake polite shtick, OA. I know that's all a fat lie. Just like your typing colour, your quirk, and everything else about you. I should have realised who you were the moment I saw your handle. I haven't the foggiest idea what you mean. Have I done something wrong? I think you know that I'm far from the only one of us who's made mistakes. Listen, you bastard, we've all done some crazy shit in the past, but that stunt you just tried to pull with TR was so fucked up. Not to mention CC and RC and GW. And those are just the ones we know about. You need to leave and never come near any of us ever again. Haha, oh Orica, this kind of behaviour is really unbecoming of someone from your cast. Okay, how the fuck do you know my name? Oh, I know lots of things about you, Orica. Like I said, you should be famous. If I were you, I'd spend a lot less time looking out for people who are beneath you, and more time worrying about yourself. There are people who want to do very, very nasty things to you, Orica. Lowbloods who'd love to finish what they started. I know what you must think of them. I understand. They're disgusting, aren't they? I'm not above anyone. They're not disgusting. And stop calling them lowbloods. You know this cast bullshit doesn't mean anything anymore. Doesn't it? I wonder if you believe that. I know they certainly don't. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Soon you'll be able to put that high and mighty attitude to the test. Maybe you'll feel a little differently when your visitor arrives. My visitor? You sent someone here? I wouldn't call it that. I might have let it slip that I knew where you were, and I know that they're very, very keen to come and see you. Any minute now you should get a proximity alert from one of your drones. Fuck, fuck, fuck. There we go. Oh wait, what did you do? It's alright, nothing to worry about. I'm sure your defence system is more than capable of handling them. You installed it after all, and very expertly too. What's the harm in letting it do its job? You won't have to worry about it when you're scraping their ashes off of the floor. I have to go. Don't ever contact me again, you monster. The last message was sent within the last hour. This happened just before you arrived. All at once, in the centre of your very concussed think pan, several ideas all come together and lock into place. You know this person, or rather you know their voice, and now you know that they're more than just trying to mess with you. Someone out there wants you dead, very badly. There's nothing new about that, of course. People want you dead all the time, and you're always happy to disappoint them. But nobody's ever gone about it like this before. This is new. Your internal monologue is interrupted by the sound of Orica returning. You move swiftly away from the computer and sit back down in the chair. You'll have to ruminate more about this later. Okay, so I have good news and better news. I'd ask which you want to hear first, but honestly the concussion is probably hella impairing your judgment right now. The good news is that I found my medical supplies and Dr. Russ is now in the building. She carries a small box over to where you are and opens it. You can't see what's inside, but she takes something out of the box and fiddles with it for a moment. Then she reaches up to your think pan carefully. Her tongue is stuck out, brow forward in concentration. You feel a faint bit of pressure, then she pulls back to admire her handiwork. Orica? Is that a band-aid you just put on me? Oh, she beams at you. And I bet it feels much better now, huh? You don't have the blood pusher to tell her, not after everything else that's happened tonight. Thank you, Orica. You're going to need to see Mashiri and a stiff drink after this, maybe both at once, especially if this is any indication as to what the better news is going to be like. Yay, Mashiri! You get the nasty feeling it's going to be something to do with Orica's other, more mechanical area of expertise. Oh boy. Orica goes back to fetch something and then returns with it cupped in both hands. Okay, so for this one I'm going to need your help. She holds her hands out towards you and then shows you what she's carrying. Cupped between her palms is... you're not sure what it is, at least not at first. It's made of some pure white metal and appears to have legs. You look at it hard for a moment, your brain slowly recognising the shape more and more. The wings, the beak, the feathers that look almost like scales. It's a hummingbird moth. That's the one! You haven't seen one of these since your Lucis died. She's pretty cool, right? All I had to do was modify one of the drones I have roaming out in the trash dunes. They help me scout for parts out there so I don't have to spend so much time digging through mountains of useless garbage to find anything good. They also let me know if anyone's nearby, just in case, well, you know. Anyway, I just tinkered with this one a bit and now she's yours. You okay, Cecily? Yes, It's just the smell in here, it makes my glands nuggets perspire is all. It's fine. Aww, she's beautiful. I know, right? She tips the hummingbird moth drone into your waiting hands, looking very pleased with herself. You stare down at it for a while in silence, then she seems to remember something. Oh right, I should probably tell you how to turn it on, LMAO. I know technology is something you have a bit of a hard time with, Ceci, so I made it real simple, just for you. I appreciate it so very much. LMAO, that's the scathing Cecily wit I know and love. My treatment is working already. Okay, so to activate you, all you have to do is press this part here and say something. Then she'll imprint on your voice and that's all there is to it. I see. That does sound very simple, but what to say? You're Cecily Yapara and you don't say things without due consideration. Your every word is calculated, every utterance straight and to the point, like your very straight, very pointy blade. If you're going to activate this thing, it's going to have to be with something good. You close your eyes and cast your mind back over the events of the night, and then back even further, whices, blinks, sweeps, until a memory from a lifetime ago catches your attention. You were sitting in a temp office, one of many you visited in those days. Some faceless person was trying to walk you through the pain with nothing but a handful of important words. You choose one like you're picking a card for a magic trick, then you walk back through the long sweeps of it, feeling its weight grow with the time. You know what to say. It's a word that you've never quite got the hang of. It's not in your nature most likely, but it'll do for now. Acceptance. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, oh, that's really nice. Oh, I liked that route very much. I love Aura because she's cute. So that'll be it for volume 4. Ooh, volume 5. Exciting. I'm gonna do the things in order. So, well, I guess that'll be it for now. See ya.